ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगारघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome all for today's Bhagavad Gita class on chapter 9. We are on verse number 29. Till now we saw how Krishna says this is the most confident knowledge which I am giving. And this I am giving because you are not envious of me, and knowing which you should be relieved of all miseries. So the Raj Vidya is the king of all education and also secret of all education, Raj Guhyam, pure, and it is the Uttamam or the best of all knowledge. And Susukam Kartam, so joyfully perform. So then he says that the faithless cannot attain Krishna. And then he gives some of his Aishwarya of how he maintains the material world. And then Krishna says that I am I have made everything, but I am not in everything, nor I am dependent on everything. So creation and destruction of material world happens by Krishna's energy at a period of time, and he is just the director. And then he describes how different kind of worshippers worship him, and then he talks about the Ananya Bhaktas or the pure devotees of Lord, how they worship Krishna constantly with devotion. And then he describes about three kinds of jnanis who worship Krishna by cultivating knowledge. And then he talks about how he worships Krishna in the universal form, how Vishwarup in the Vishwarup can be worshipped, and then he describes about how he's all pervading. And then from verse 20 to 25, he describes about the demigod worship on how we can do proper worship of Krishna. And then from 26 to 34 is the glories of Krishna Bhakti. So we saw the last time the verse, famous verse of Patram Pusham Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prayashati Tadaham Bhaktya Uparitam Asnami Prayatatmana. And then we saw 27 verse also that whatever we do, eat or whatever do offer in sacrifice or give away, and whatever austerities we perform, we should do as an offering to Krishna. And the result of that is that will be freed from bondage. Now, a question comes whether Krishna is equal or not to everybody. So this question is answered in this verse number 29. So which we're going to see now. And what happens to a imperfect devotee? This also will explain in 31 verse. That somebody takes up to devotional service but does something wrong or something bad. So what happens to them? And what happens to sinful people? So this all will be described, and the last verse 34 will be the conclusion. So we try to complete this chapter today. So let's start with verse number 29. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshyosti na priya ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi te te chu chapyam. So I envy no one, nor I am partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders me service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also friend to him. So Krishna says that samoham sarvabhuteshu, I am equal to all, and name dveshu na asti priya. So asti na priya. So he's saying that I do not envy anybody and nobody is dear to me also. So for common living entities, he provides light, water, electricity. He stays as a Paramatma, like he's the overseer. He is like Anumanta and Drishta. That is, he gives them permission if they have the certain pious traits, and also he is like observer. But there's a special case. Ye bhajanti tu maam bhaktya. So those who worship him, what has happened? Mai teshu chapiham. So for them, he takes special care. It is like in any college, any school, anybody, anything. What happens is, so teacher gives equal lesson to all people. The teacher is equal to the all students. But those students who show special inclination to the subject which the teacher is teaching, what happens is the teacher also reciprocates by giving them some extra time, some extra lessons, or in some other way helps the students. So this is not partiality, but this is reciprocation. And we see everywhere, like if somebody is working in a company, so the company gives salary to each and every person. It doesn't withhold for any one person. But if some employee is extraordinarily performing, doing some things out of his service, then what happens? The company gives special privileges, some perks to that employee. So similarly, Krishna also gives normal things to everybody, but one who has bhakti, Krishna, then what he does? He gives some extra things to that person. So Krishna is reciprocal. So just like the clouds, they rain equally on land also, rock also, everywhere. So they don't discriminate. So like this, Krishna also gives attention. So like this, it happens. So yeah, we'll see purport. So one may question here that if Krishna is equal to everyone and no one is his special friend, then why does he take special interest in devotees who are always engaged in transcendental service? But it is not discrimination, it is natural. Any man in this material world may be seen charitably disposed, yet he has special interest in his own children. The Lord claims that every living entity in whatever form is his son, and so he provides everyone with a generous supply of the necessities of life. It's just like a cloud which pours rain all over, regardless of whether it falls on the rock or land or water. But for his devotees, he gives special attention, specific attention. Such devotees are mentioned here. They're always in Krishna consciousness, and therefore they're always translated situated in Krishna. The very phrase Krishna consciousness suggests that those who are in such consciousness are living transcendentally situated in Him. The Lord says here distinctly, Mai te, they are in me. Naturally, as a result, the Lord is also in them. This is reciprocal. This also explains the word Ye yatha mam prapadante tam sathaiva bhajamiham. Whoever surrenders unto me, proportionately I take care of him. This transcendental reciprocation exists because both the Lord and the devotee are conscious. So here it is this example is very good, which is given that in this world also many people give charity. Many people give charity. But the charity which they give to others will never equal the affection which they have for their own children. For their own children, they have much more to give than some simple things. And therefore, Krishna also is reciprocal. And he gives, provides everyone general supply, necessity of life. So nobody will die, but uh, special things not will given. Sometimes back, uh, one of our devotees asked, his name is Radhanath Maharaj, and how to train the children, because some are very, very mischievous, and they do not listen to us. And you ask that we should not beat them, we should not touch them. Then how is that we should train them? Because they don't listen to us only. Then Maharaj very wonderfully replied that give them all the basic facilities. They should never be deprived with normal food, clothing, and everything, like dal, rice, chapai, sabzi. But what you do, the students who are good, give them special sweet. So indirectly, they will get message that if they want some sweet or some special things, then they have to behave nicely. In that way, you are punishing them, but indirectly. You are not actually punishing them, but you are helping them to grow in a way which is beneficial. So there also we see how Maharaj uses this natural principle that one who listens gets good reciprocation. Otherwise, normal facilities are given to everyone. And Krishna also provides even to an atheist, like even if somebody doesn't believe in him, he is like totally atheist. Still, Krishna does not reject it. So we also cannot reject anybody in this world who wants to come to temple or wants to help in some way. But if there is some devotee, then we'll give naturally will be more inclined to that person. So further, I said, when a diamond is set in the golden, it looks very nice. The gold is glorified. At the same time, the diamond is glorified. The Lord and the living entity eternally glitter, and when the living entity becomes inclined to the service of the Supreme Lord, he looks like gold, and the Lord is a diamond. And so this combination is very nice. Living entities in the pure state are called devotees. The Supreme Lord becomes the devotee of his devotees. If the reciprocal relationship is not present between the devotee and the Lord, then there is no personalist philosophy. In the impersonalist philosophy, there is no reciprocation between the Supreme and the living entity. But in the personalist philosophy, there is. A very good example is the one is of golding and diamond. So golding is beautiful, but it becomes more beautiful when a diamond is set. And the devotees are like gold and the Lord is like diamond. So when the devotee serves the Lord, they also glitter like gold. But they cannot become like diamond anytime in their life. So whatever the devotee does, he cannot become Lord at any point of time. The example is often given that the Lord is like a desire tree, and whatever one wants from this desire tree, Lord supplies. But here the explanation is more complete. The Lord is here stated to be partial to the devotees. This is the manifestation of the Lord's special mercy to the devotees. The Lord's reciprocation should not be considered to be under the law of karma. It belongs to a transcendental situation in which the Lord and his devotees function. Devotional service to the Lord is not an activity of this material world. It is part of the spiritual world, but eternity, bliss, and knowledge predominate. So often Lord is described as Kalpavrisha tree or the desire tree. And whatever we want, Krishna gives. Actually, if we desire from our heart, Krishna fulfills our desire. We have seen so many times. But here, the Lord is stated that he is more partial to devotee. So, this is mercy. And this is not in the law of karma. Actually, when in the law of karma, what happens is, whatever one has in his account, that only will get. Like suppose somebody wants to purchase something. So first thing is that he will check his bank balance. If he has the bank balance, then he will be able to purchase. Or in modern times, maybe he has that credit card or the credit worthiness in the bank that the bank allows him to purchase something. So this is some mercy which is given by the bank. And this is available for all citizens, everyone. But in special cases, because of the sanction of the higher authorities or something, whatever it may be, what happens? the person is given limit far beyond his capacity, that he can purchase something which ordinarily would have not been, because of his CIBIL score is not so good, and he doesn't have so much bank balance also. So this is like some special mercy given because of some of the service done or some other things, some connection with the higher authorities or whatever it may be. So devotion service is not the activity of material world, but it's a part of spiritual world. So devotional service, we cannot understand, but we are doing this material world, but it is not a part of this material world. It is a part of spiritual world, like an embassy. So embassy in any country, like a US embassy in India. So US embassy in India, actually that US embassy is not in US, it is in actually in India. But what happens is the rights, the benefits which is get, the laws which apply to that embassy is what are in the US. So similarly way, we are in material world, the whole material world, but devotional service does not come in the ambit of material world, and whatever restriction is done by Krishna is according to the spiritual laws. Now the question comes that somebody becomes a devotee of the Lord, but because of his previous vasanas, because of his previous inclinations, he does something very wrong thing which he should not have done. Then what happens to that person? What happens to that devotee? So this is very good explained in this verse and the next verse also. So let's see verse number 30. Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabha sadureva samantavya samyak vyavastito hi sa. Translation. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. So, what is Krishna's verdict here? That even if one commits the most abominable, most means the most wrong thing which you have not done only. If he is engaged in devotional service, that is, he is engaged. So, there is something called as sin, and there is something called as aparadha. So, if somebody does a sin, then he can do devotional service. There is no problem. But if somebody does major aparadh, then what happens is devotional service gets hampered. And that point of time, there is a problem. So that we should understand this the differences between the sin and aparadh. The aparadh are the 10 aparadh we recite in the morning. And if one does aparadh, then one may lose devotional service also. But one does not do any aparadh, but does some sin because of his previous conditioning or something, then one is pardoned. This is the verdict of the Shastra. So, his engaged in devotional service is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in determination. So, he is determined that in spite of all the obstacles which are given by the body, mind, the false ego, the other living entities, the prakriti and all, I will carry on my devotionals. Whatever happens, it may happen. So, we have seen the classic example of Ajamil, where in the initial stages, he was trained as a Brahmana. He knew the Vedas, he knew mantras. He did some spiritual things. But then, because of some impressions of previous lives, when he saw something, he got out of track. And after that, he did so many abominable things. But at the end, what happened? He again became saintly. And therefore, Krishna saved him. So, or otherwise, Krishna saved him and therefore he was very saintly. So, in that way, anybody in this world, he may be the most biggest sinner. He has a chance to become a devotee of the Lord. He can become perfect. He can go back to God. There is no problem according to his determination. Purport. The word sudurachara used in this verse is very significant, and we should understand properly. When living entity is conditioned, he has two types of activities. One is conditional and one other is constitutional. So very good thing is given here. So we should understand that he has two types of activities. One is spiritual activities and one is material activities. So as far as protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities even for the devotees in connection with the conditional life. And such activities are called conditional. Besides this, the living entity who is fully conscious of his spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or devotional service of the Lord has activities which are transcendental. So some activities like daily things we do, they are like conditional living activities everybody do. And other activities are transcendental, which will help us to go out of this material world. Such activities are performed in his conscious position and they are technically called devotional service. Now, in the conditioned state, sometimes devotional service and the conditional service in relation to the body will parallel one another. So both things will go on. We'll do devotional service also at the same time. We'll do the body service also. But then again, sometimes these activities become opposed to one another. As far as possible, a devotee is very cautious so that he does not do anything that could disturb his wholesome condition. He knows that perfection in his activities depends on the progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken to be the most abominable socially or politically. But such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person falls down but is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord will bring the situated within the heart, purifies him, and excuses him from the abomination. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes becomes ensnared. But Krishna consciousness is so strong that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. Therefore, the persons of devotional service is always a success. The process of devotion is always a success. Very wonderful line. No one should deride a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path. As explained in the next verse, such occasional fall down will be stopped in due course as soon as the devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness. So, very wonderful things are given here. The two activities, the material world activities and spiritual, sometimes they are opposite. Like somebody is a devotee of the Lord, but he has no job, and sometimes he has to work in a liquor bar, or he has to work under some butcher or somebody. So in that time, he may do some activities which are not bona fide, which are not according to the bhakti which he has to done. Then the Lord will excuse that person. Of course, if one does willingly, if one has choice, but one does not take that choice and one does willingly wrong things in the name of devotional service, then it becomes the seventh offense. The seventh offense is that we commit sinful acts on the strength of the holy name. So one should not do seventh offense, but suppose somebody has to, because of the circumstance, has to do some acts which were not sanctioned by the scriptures, then because the Lord is a person and he understands the situation, therefore he helps the devotee to become rectified. At the same time, he absolves him from the punishment. But this should not be taken as an opportunity to do some wrong things in lives. So, yeah, so the material contamination is so strong that yogi also can fall down. Like we say Vishwamitra ji. So Vishwamitra ji was a very, 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 very renowned Muni. So he's a king before, But when he started his renounced order or things, he was so determined, so determined. He was doing tapasya for so many years and years and years. But still, he many times fell victim to lust, then sometimes to anger. And in this way, after so many years, he got rectified. And then he was really known as Vishwamitra. That is, he was the friend of all living entities. So this happens. So therefore, we should understand that whoever takes to devotional service, he will definitely achieve success. He will never ever go down. We should have full faith in devotion, full faith in chanting the holy name. That whoever chants the holy name will definitely achieve success. And therefore, the only reason that one cannot achieve success is if it does Vaishnava Aparadh. That one derides a great Vaishnava, then there is a problem. That is, bhakti may come down. Otherwise, the material world has no power to stop somebody's devotional service. This material world has no limits. It has no strength that it can stand against some devotee. No way. Therefore, a person who is situated in the Krishna consciousness and is engaged with determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, should be considered to be in the transcendental position, even if by chance or accident he is found to be have fallen. The words Sadhureva is saintly and are very empathetic. They are warning to the non-devotees that because of an accident fall down, a devotee should not be derided. He should still be considered saintly even if he has accidentally fallen down. And the word mantavya is still more empathetic. If one does not follow this rule and deride the devotee for his accident fall down, then one is disobeying the order of Supreme Lord. The only qualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in a devotional service. So, this opinion is not of a mundane person, this opinion of a Lord. So, when we deride some devotee, what happens is actually we are offering the devotee at the same time, we are not following the order of a Supreme Personality of Lord also. So, therefore, there is a level loss, and we should not do that. So, accident fall down should never be taken seriously. See, if we are affected by that thing, we can be away from that person. Or if the community is affected by somebody's wrongdoing, what we can do is we can remove that person from the community, but we should never disrespect him. We can put him some other place, some other things we can give him, or some things like here and there. Like if somebody does the problem in one temple, he can be transferred to another temple. If that is also not possible, he can be put in somewhere where is alone, so in solitude. But he should not be offended, nor he should be deprived of doing bhakti. Then the problem will not be solved. So in the Narsingh Puran, the following statement is given. Bhagavati cha charao ananya cheta brisha malino api virajate manushya nahi sasa kalusha shabi kadachit timida prabhava tam upayati chandra. The meaning is that even if one fully engaged in the devotion of the Lord is sometimes found engaged in abominable activities, these activities should not be considered to be like this. These activities should be considered like the spots that resemble the mark of a rabbit on the moon. Such spots do not become an impediment to the diffusion of moonlight. Similarly, the accident fall down of a devotee from the path of saintly character does not make him abominable. So we see that even the moon has marks, but that does not discourage moon to diffuse his moonlight. So similarly, some devotee may fall down, but that does not make him abominable. On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that devotee on the transcendental devotional service can act in all kinds of abominable ways. This verse only refers to an accident due to a strong power of material connection. We have discussed already that it should not be willingly. Unwillingly, if it happens, then it can be excuse. If somebody does willingly, then it becomes a seventh offense. So devotion service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusionary energy. As long as one is not strong enough to fight the illusionary energy, there may be accidental fall downs. But when one is strong enough, he is no longer subject to such fall downs as previously explained. No one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that is still a devotee. If one does not improve in his character by devotion service, then he is to be understood that he is not the high devotee. So the devotee should repent. The devotee should try to improve himself, and then he can be released from the punishment. Otherwise, if he does willingly and he does not want to improve, then this verse does not apply to that person. This is only for person who accidentally falls down. So let's see verse number 31 again. What happens to the person who accidentally falls down? So further, this verse also explains what happens to him. Shipram bhavati dharmatma sashvat shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. These all verses of this 9th chapter are very, very wonderful, very potent verses. And they give us such boost in our devotional service that we cannot just imagine. These are like the jewel verses of Bhagavad Gita, very, very jewel verses. And seeing the type of verses are coming, I don't think we're able to complete today the chapter, but we'll do best to do. So Shipram, that is very soon he becomes righteous, that is, he becomes Dharmatma, and he will achieve lasting peace. And yes, Kaunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakti Bhakta Pranashyati. So Krishna is telling, oh Arjuna, you declare that my devotee never perishes. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So now Krishna also would have taken vow, but here he's asking Arjuna to take this vow, to declare boldly that devotee never perish. So why it is so that Krishna does not declare, but he asks his devotee to declare? The reason is that Krishna may break his promise, but he will never ever allow the promise of his devotee to be broken. And we have seen so many examples, like Krishna promised that I will never ever take weapons. But in the case of Bhishma Pitama, he took the wheel and was about to charge Bhishma Pitama, but Arjun stopped him. But in the case of Arjuna, Arjuna took a vow that tomorrow I will kill Jarasan. Krishna helped that Arjuna to fulfill his vow. Similarly, many a times we see that Krishna allowed that devotees wish to be fulfilled. But he may not fulfill his own promise sometimes. Therefore, we should understand this. So there is a very good verse which comes in 7th canto of Bhagavatam, 8th chapter, when Narsimha Bhagwan comes of the pillar. So it says, Satyam vidatum nija pratyabhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmana adhishyati adbhutarupam udvaham stambe sabhayam namigam cha manusham. So, to prove that the statement of his servant Prahlad Maharaj was substantial, in other words, to prove that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even with the pillar of the assembly hall, the Supreme Personality called Hari exhibited a wonderful form never before seen. The form was neither that of a man nor that of a lion, That thus the Lord appeared in his wonderful form in the assembly hall. So generally, nobody can take birth from a pillar. Even if Supreme Lord wants to come in this material world, he takes he takes support of some mother, father, or he does not take support. Support is not a good word, but he does through some mother or father. But in this case, just to prove that the Prahlad Maharaj was staying true, he came from a pillar. Similarly, he also proved the words of Brahmaji true, because Brahmaji had promised Hiranyakashipu that you will not be killed nor in the day, nor in the night, nor inside, nor outside, nor by weapons, nor by demigods, nor by gods. And one more benediction is given in Narsimha Purana, that nor in the 12 months also. So Narsimha protected all the vows given by Brahmaji and still killed Hiranyakashipu. So in this way, the Lord helps to keep the promise of a devotee, but he may break his own promise. Similarly, he also proved the promise of Narad Muni, because Narad Muni was the teacher of Prahlad Maharaj, and he told that Prahlad Maharaj will be protected. Similarly, he also protected his own promise, that he says that whenever there is a decline of dharma, I will come. So in this way, Krishna protects the promise of his devotees. He may sometimes break his own promise for that sake. Like Krishna never wanted to be bound by Yashodamai, but still, because of love of Yashodamai, he got bound. And therefore, here, if we see, Krishna is asking Arjuna to promise, and he himself is not promising. Purport: this should not be misunderstood. In the 7th chapter, the Lord says that one who is engaged in mischievous activities cannot become a devotee of the Lord. One who is not a devotee of the Lord has no good qualifications whatsoever. So, this is not for person who do wrong intentionally. This is only for persons who have committed some offense unintentionally. Because of his previous vasanas, he could not uh, uh, help himself. So this is for that person. The question remains then, how can a person engage in abominable activities either by accident or by intention, by pure devotee? This question may justly be raised. The miscreants, as stated in the 7th chapter, who never come to devotional service of the Lord, has no good qualifications, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Generally, a devotee who is engaged in the 9 kinds of devotional activities is engaged in the process of cleansing all material contamination of the heart. He puts the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, and all the sinful contamination are naturally washed away. Continuous thinking of the Supreme Lord makes him pure by nature. According to the Vedas, there is a certain regulation that if one falls down from his exalted position, he has to undergo certain ritualistic processes to purify himself. But here, there is no such condition, because the purifying process is already there in the heart of the devotee, which is remembering the Supreme Personality of God constantly. Therefore, chanting of the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare should be continued without stoppage. This will protect the devotee from all accident fall downs. He will thus remain perpetually free from the material contamination. So, very good understanding is given why a devotee is protected instead of fall down. So, if somebody does wrong in the material sense, then what happens? According to Vedas, there are some atonements given that you do this, either drink hot ghee or do this or that or something. So that is atonement given for that sin. But in Krishna conscious process, the atonement is all devotion service. So when one is chanting, one is here, he's already doing the atonement. He's already purifying himself. And therefore,
there is no need of separate endeavor or separate atonement to be done by that devotee. And therefore, it is said that a devotee quickly becomes righteous because he is following the process of devotional service, which is already an act of atonement for all his previous sins. And also, he is helped by the Lord himself. And therefore, such a devotee has nothing to do uh, other than doing his devotional service. And therefore, he should not be deprived of devotional service at any point of time. And therefore, one should take care that he's properly situated. So once there was a devotee who was a thief before coming to devotional service, and he wanted to do thievery, but somehow, because of association of devotees, he became a devotee. But his previous inclination would not go. Then what the temple would did was he was not given in charge of anything, some money or something. Otherwise, what will happen? Naturally, his previous inclination will make him to do some thievery. But he can do some devotional service and do some menial tasks like cleaning the temple or doing some tasks where the possibility of thievery is not there. In this way, he can be helped. And similarly, there are so many cases in which the devotee is being helped, but not being allowed to go previously to his bad condition. Like there was one couple devotee. So they were addicted to drugs before. So generally in West, it is very common that before coming to devotional service, they are addicted to such drugs. So why now they become devotee? Then an alternate situation was made where they could be transferred to another city itself, where the devotees are living. Why? Because they will go to their own place like last time, like where they were living before. What will happen? They'll be associated with wrong people, and in this way they'll again get the bad habits. So to help them, to protect them, to save and nurture devotional service from all the previous inclination, they were situated to another place. So like this, many things can be done so that the devotee is also saved and at the same time others are also saved. Now, here in verse number 30, which is also very, very, very famous verse, and Prabhupada quotes it many, many times. And this is also a jewel verse, which is a wonderful verse. So, uh, here it is declared by Krishna that even people of sinful birth can also attain Krishna. So in last verses, we saw that somebody has sinful inclination. But in the today's time, the birth is also sinful. Like people take birth and from childhood, where they are grown, is all sinful only. Like Arjuna said in the first chapter, Varna Sankara, that if the children are not born properly, the elders are not there, then they become burden. So what happens to that and other people? So this verse clarifies that. Mami patha vyapashritya, mami patha vyapashritya, ye piyushu papayoneya, striyo vaishya tata shudras, tepi yanti param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who shall take shelter in me, although they are of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchant, and Shudras can attain the supreme destination. So let us understand that women are not less than men in so many ways, but their birth is considered to be a lower. Why? Because the body in which they are born, they are like time periods, they have 4 times in a month, and the structure in which they are made, it is made in a way that they become helpless in so many conditions. So there's no problem with the jiva, the soul, but the body, because body is like a vehicle. Like somebody is born deaf or blind, then the soul is okay. But such a person cannot exhibit so many things because of being blind or deaf. Similarly, the woman, because of the bodily structure or the things which they have, sometimes in a month, they may not be able to do devotional service. Uh, Means not all devotionals they can do chanting and reading and all, but like worshipping the deities or going to temple for or cooking for the Lord or something. So generally nowadays, actually not many follow, but in general, this is the case. So this is not the problem with the person, but the body which is similarly the Vaishyas or the Shudras. In general, they are not bad. They're all needed in the society. If there are no Vaishyas, then who will give donations? And if there are no Shudras or workers, then who will do the hard labor work? So these are all necessary. But because they don't have the higher intelligence, therefore they are called like the body is inferior. Otherwise, there is no problem with all these things actually. And even on a spiritual platform, this doesn't matter. But on a material platform, it matters. Like if the Vaishyas are not directed by the Brahmanas, what happens generally is for earning money, what will do? They will use wrong means. Like in today's time, Vaishyas should protect cows, but they are sending the cows from slaughterhouse to earn some money. So therefore, they go in the wrong direction. Similarly, if it's the Shudras or workers, they need protection of the higher caste. If they are not protected, then what happens? And if you give money to them, they will all misuse in intoxication and all the bad other things. And in this way, they will harm themselves and harm others also. And therefore, here it is said that they are of lower birth. So, purport, it is clearly declared here by the Supreme Lord that in a devotional service there is no distinction between the lower and the higher class of people. In the material conception of life, there are such divisions. But for a person engaged in the transcendental devotional service to the Lord, there are not. Everyone is eligible for the supreme destination. So material conception, what happens is there are divisions, there are some lower rank, some higher rank, and so many things are happening. But one who is a devotee of the Lord, who takes to devotional service, there are no such devotions, no such divisions or anything for him. So everybody can go back to God at their own pace, at their own time period. There is no hurry, actually. There is no like, there's only one position. No. Everybody will get the first rank. The condition is one has to just come to the finish line. That's all. So whenever one reaches to the finish line, maybe after 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, he'll declare as winner, and he'll be given as he will given the same prize which the first person got. That is entering the spiritual world. So here the question is not of who comes first. The question is who starts the race. That's all. Once the person starts the race, he will definitely go back to Godhead. He's eligible to go to back to Godhead. There is no such a thing that he's not eligible. No, because the soul is pure. He may be a dog eater. He may do whatever abominable things he may do, but his soul is always pure, and therefore the soul can go to back to God from any birth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.8, it is stated that even the lowest, who are called chandalas, dog eaters, can be purified by association with the pure devotee. So we see that when association comes with pure devotees, anybody can be purified. And we see the case of Mrigari, who would half kill the animal. Because of saintly association, he got purified. Like also we see Ratnakar, he was also like same. So he also got rectified by saintly experience. Therefore, devotional service and the guidance of pure devotee are so strong that there is no distinction between the lower and the higher class of man. Anyone can take to it. So, devotional is very, very powerful, very, very powerful. And there is no discrimination. Whoever comes from any country, anywhere, even if their pronunciation is not proper, even if their understanding is not proper, still they will be get purified. According to the different modes of material nature, men are classified in the mode of goodness, the Brahmanas, the mode of passion, Kshatriyas, the mixed modes, passion or ignorance are called Vaishyas or merchants, and the gross mode of ignorance called Shudra workers. Those lower than them are called Chandalas, and they are born in sinful families. So from childhood, they have seen all sins from their homes only. The way they talk, the way they do things, it's very, very simple. Every day they do lots and lots of sins. Every day. And there is no end to it. Generally, the association of those born in sinful families is not acceptable by the higher classes. But the process of devotion is so strong that the pure devotee of the Supreme Lord can enable people of all the lower classes to attain the highest perfection of life. So the process is so strong in the association, both these things. If be given to the most fallen at will, they will come in the good line very soon. So this is possible only when one takes shelter of Krishna, as indicated here by the word Vyapashrita, Vyapashritya. One has to take shelter completely of Krishna, then one can become much greater than the great Gyanis and Yogis. So just by taking shelter of Krishna, one can surpass so many things. Otherwise, one has to do so many austerities, so many vratas, tapas, and so many things if one has to go back to Godhead. And that also takes so many lifetimes. But if one becomes devotee of Krishna, then what happens is he can go back to God very fast and do all the activities. So let's see verse number 33. Now, here it is a comparison made that if people like this can go back to Godhead, then what to speak of qualified people? What can they not do? So indirectly, it is hinted that such people can go, then you also practice devotion and go back to God. So kim prumar brahmana punya bhaktya rajarshayas tatha anityam sukham lokam imam prapya bhajasva mam. How much more this is so of the righteous brahmanas, the devotees and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in the loving service unto me. So, if such people can go back to Godhead, so what to speak of righteous brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings? Therefore, one who has come to this temporary material world, miserable world, if they are engaged in devotional service, they are sure to go back to God. So we should be confident enough that if we go on this path of devotional service, the success is guaranteed. We don't know when. It's just a question of time. But we should never have this doubt that we will not get success in spiritual life. Never. We should always be confident that we will always succeed in devotional service. It is not because of own power, but it is because of the blessings of the devotees and Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, we'll definitely go back to Godhead. In this material world, there are classification of people, but after all, the world is not a happy place for anyone. It is clearly stated here, Anityam Asukham Lokam. This world is temporary and full of miseries. not habitable for any sane gentleman. The world is declared by Supreme Personality Godhead to be temporary and full of miseries. Some philosophers, especially Mayavadi philosophers, say that this world is false, but we can understand from Bhagavad Gita that the world is not false, it is temporary. There is a difference between the word temporary and false. This is world is temporary, but there is another world which is eternal. This world is miserable, but the other world it is eternal, blissful. So in this world, nobody can be happy. Nobody. Because the constitution of this world is made in such a way that every time we think that we have made it, we are successful, something will happen. Like now, so many countries are thinking that we are materially very, very advanced. But if you see the geopolitical situation now, there's a havoc everywhere. Every country wants to go for war. Everybody is purchasing defense equipments and doing so many things. And not only that, the Prakriti or the material energy of the Lord is also becoming very, 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 very dangerous for living entities. The cyclones, the earthquakes, the tsunamis, they are like raging now, cloud bursts. Now these things are increasing day by day. So this world is never a good place. So one may think that I am in a golden jail. The jail which I am staying is made of gold, and the jail in which you are is made of if iron. But in actuality, it doesn't make difference. Jail is jail. It may be made of iron or it may be made of gold. One cannot escape the jail. Similarly, in this material world, one may be a Brahman or one may be a Shuddha, whatever the case may be, but still one is material world. So one has to face all the miseries. And therefore, it doesn't matter much where one is, but what matters much is that one tries, one does something that he can go back to God. So Arjuna was born in a saintly royal family. To him also the Lord says, take to my devotional service and come quickly back to God, back home. No one should remain in this temporary world, full as it is with miseries. Everyone should attach himself to the bosom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that he can be eternally happy. The devotional service of the Supreme Lord is the only process by which all problems of the classes of man can be solved. Everyone should therefore take to Krishna consciousness and make his life perfect. So, Arjuna was born in a good family. He was born in a saintly family. Still, they had to go through so many tribulations. Yudhishthira Maharaj, unrivaled king, no enemy in this world, still he had to suffer the vanvas and so many other things. And similarly, they had Bhima, they had Arjuna, and beyond all, their friend was Krishna, who is always beside them. And still, so many vipatti, so many bad elements, so many bad things happened to the Pandavas. So if such things happen to Pandavas, what to think of ordinary people in this material world? If you see the Kundali or the horoscope of any person, it will show that they are always a bad time. Sade Shat ki, or Shani ki panoti, and so many people say. So this is very miserable world, temporary world, and nobody can be happy in this material world. Nobody. People are happy only in their selfies, in the billboards, in the advertisements. But in the heart, they're always empty. They are miserable. And we can say by sure, and therefore we see in today's time, more and more people are getting mentally problems. More and more people are doing suicide. The divorce cases, the happiness index is going down by day. These all are symptoms that how people are unhappy. There are a lot of agitations going everywhere now in the world for so many things. And this all shows that people are unhappy. It is not that government is not trying to do good, it is trying its best. But they cannot they are not lords, and therefore they also are incapable of rectifying the situation. And some temporary patchwork solutions are being tried, and so many things are being tried, but there is no solution. And therefore, if you take to Krishna consciousness and make the life perfect. So thank you very much. It's 9:30, 8:34. So the last verse, 9:34, we'll take in next class because it's a very good verse and it is a long purport which will not be able to complete today. So we'll do next time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.